Okay, welcome back to the second video of electricity. As we are already discussed in the first video about so many things about the electricity, right? And especially we have seen some formula, that is current is nothing but rate of flow of charges, and even potential difference also we have discussed, that is work done per unit charge. Okay, and in the first video we discussed, that is the Ohm's law, V is equal to I R, or V by I is equal to R, right? This is constant, R is constant, as we discussed, right? So these three formula, this is the first formula, second formula and third formula, right? This we have discussed in the first video. All right. Then we will discuss now the resistance. What is this resistance, sir? Okay, as we just discussed about the Ohm's law, current is always directly proportional to the potential difference, keeping the temperature constant, right? So then what is this resistance? It is simply a opposing force. It is a conductor. See here, electrons are moving like this. Okay, so atoms will always, in the movement, that in the oscillation movement. So they show the disturbance or the hurdles or the opposition for the flow of current, that we call it as a resistance. Okay, all right. So resistances, I will show you some resistances here. You can see here, this is also a resistance, and I will show you some more resistances here. You can see here resistance, and this is also resistance. There are some color bands on this that you will learn in the higher classes. These are all the resistances. You will learn it in the higher classes, and resistance will be measured in terms of ohm. Resistance will be measured in terms of ohm. Okay, so and there is a meter to measure the resistance, that we are having right now, the multimeter. With this you can measure the resistance of a resistor. Example, I will take one resistor here like this. You can see here. Okay, now it is off. I will make it on. See the ohm, the sign of the ohm we will take like this. Okay, here it is mentioned here. You can see here. Okay, so multimeter we can use to measure the resistance also, right? I am just checking the resistance of this old resistor, how much it is, like this. Okay, I will show you how much resistance it is having. Can you able to see here? So it is 99.1 ohm. So this resistor is having 99.1 ohm. Okay, see here I am holding it in the air only. Air is having more resistance. Okay, more resistance. It is showing 1 means, so it is having more resistance. A dry air is having more resistance, that's why the current is not flowing in this one. Okay, right? Even if you can see my resistance also, see here I am holding this, my resistance also, how much it is showing. See here, it is showing almost 780 or 800 up to. Okay, you can see here. So resistance is more, that means current will not flow very easily. Okay, here I will have some other things like this. A alloy I am having, its resistance I will show you here. You can check. The brass is there with me. You can see here the resistance, right? Resistance of this one. Okay, and we are having the plastic with me. You can check the resistance of this one also. See here, it is 1, it is showing 1 here, that means more resistance it is showing. Okay, wood I am having here, so you can check the resistance of this one also, right? See here, it is also showing 1. Okay, it is showing 1, and you can take the copper here, it will show the resistance. See, it is showing the resistance here, how much it is showing. So it is fluctuating. I think you are getting the resistance now. Like this, resistance we can check with a multimeter also. Okay, right. So what are resistance? Resistance are simply the opposition force for the flow of electrons. Okay, a conductor which shows the opposition force for the flow of current, that is called as resistance. Then resistance, as we just discussed, I have shown you some resistances also. You can see here some resistances applied here in the you can see here, these are resistances. This is what a broken charger, there also we can see the resistances. Resistances, the factors affecting on resistances, that we will see here now. That is, first one, resistance, factors affecting on resistance, that is, first one, length of a conductor, that is L. If the length of a conductor is more, you can see here, then you will have more number of atoms in it, and there will be a more collision of electrons with the atoms. Definitely the resistance will be more there. That means resistance is directly proportional to the length of the conductor. You can take like this. Okay, then if I take smaller length, then there will be a lesser resistance. If I take area of a cross section of a conductor, suppose this is area of a cross section of a conductor, then you will have a more space, right? Less number of electrons are there, more space, then there will be less resistance. That means resistance is inversely proportional to the area of a conductor, cross section of a conductor. So lesser the area, more will be the resistance, more will be the area, lesser the resistance. Okay, so these are the factors affecting on the resistance, these 2 points only by seeing the conductor. Whereas even 2 more points are there. If the temperature rises, I tell you, temperature rises, then the atoms present here are vibrating a lot, then there will be a lot of disturbance. Okay, especially for the ohmic conductors, I am telling you, not for the semiconductors. In semiconductors, ohmic conductors are nothing but copper, zinc, and these iron, aluminum, these are all the ohmic conductors, not the electrolytes. So those conductors are called ohmic conductors. Whereas in semiconductors, if you take rise in temperature reduces the resistances. Okay, whereas in alloys also, rise in temperature also will not affect any resistance. Understood? In alloys, you know what are alloys? It is a homogeneous mixture of metal and metal or metal and non-metal. Here in a conductor only I am talking you. So resistance is directly proportional to the length of a conductor, inversely proportional to the area of a conductor, and temperature also. One more thing, the material which I am taking, that is also depends here. So that we will call here as a resistivity or a specific resistance. I will write it here. So by making the formula including all these things, I will take the resistivity in that simply. So can I write like this? Resistance is directly proportional to length of a conductor, inversely proportional to the area of a conductor. Then if you make a formula by removing this one, resistance is equal to rho. Rho means this is the specific resistance or a the material of the conductor. Okay, and length and area inversely proportional to the area. The proportionality sign I have removed and taken the resistivity. What is this? This is resistivity. Okay. So, or you can call it as a specific resistance, okay, right. Then what is this specific resistance? As I just told you, here I am having a copper and aluminum with me, right. So, both are having the resistance, as you know. Here it is having a, both are having the same length, but its resistivity is different, its resistivity is different. So, resistivity is simple, it is the resistivity is simply a material of the conductor that shows the opposition force for the flow of charges. Some material will show this more opposition. For example, alloy will show the more opposition, whereas the plain conductors, pure conductors will not show the more opposition. In the plain conductors itself only, in the pure metals itself only, there will be a lot of difference. If you take a silver, silver is having a very less resistivity, right. So, 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 14 it may be, okay. So, ohm meter, we will measure in terms of ohm meter also. I will tell you the SI unit of resistivity also. Resistivity, it is simply the material of a conductor which shows the opposition for the flow of electron, okay, that differ from material to material, metals to metal. Aluminum is having a different resistivity, different opposition force. Suppose if I take a two materials of different, two different material of a same length, for example, this is aluminum and having a length 10 centimeter, and one more conductor I will take here. So, which is having the same length, that is 10 centimeter, and even the area of cross section will be say around 2 centimeter square, here also 2 centimeter square, everything is keeping same here, whereas here its resistivity is more as compared to the, this is silver, its resistivity is less. That means it allows the current to flows through it more, whereas it will not allow the current, more current to flows through it as compared to the silver. That is called as resistivity. Understood? Keeping all the physical quantities, see here the length and the area, we are keeping the same to the both the conductors, whereas here even passing the current same also, we are keeping the potential difference same. Suppose if both the conductor are connected to a 1.5 volt current, then 1.5 volt, then current will be more in this one. Why? Because it shows the lesser resistivity. The current will be lesser in this because it shows the more resistivity. I think now you have understood what is resistivity. It is simply the material of the conductor that shows the opposition for the flow of current. Understood? Okay. So, then now we will simply see the resistivity's SI unit. Resistivity is equal to, just cross multiply it, R into A divided by L. R is nothing but we measure it in terms of ohm, A is meter square, okay, and L is meter. Simply this meter get cancelled, then resistivity is nothing but ohm meter, okay, right. If someone asks you a boiler is there, a big copper boiler is there, what is its resistivity? Simply what you have to do is, you have to take a 1 meter length of this boiler, you have to cut 1 meter copper from this, and 1 meter square area, and then you have to find resistance of that is length and area, that will be its resistivity, okay, that will be its resistivity. What is a specific resistance or what is a resistivity? It is very simple. Take a conductor, and in that the resistance of the 1 meter length and 1 square meter area's resistance will be its resistivity. Understood? So, that is resistivity. Understood? Okay then. So, resistivity, as I told you, so it varies from metal to metal, first thing, and even it increases in the alloys, and even in the insulators it is having more resistivity. That's why it will not allow the current to flow through it. Understood? So resistivity we measure in terms of ohm meter. Please take down this, please take down ohm meter, and this is the one more formula we got, that is R is equal to rho L into L by A, rho into L by A. Okay, rho is resistivity or specific resistance. Understood? Okay. Here I will show you a specific resistance for a different material. I am having a different material with me. This is a copper one and this is the aluminum one, and here I am having some other alloy. You can see the resistivity. I will show this one with this circuit. This is a complete circuit right now. Okay, one second, it is simply you can see here so resistivity of a conductor varies from material to material. This you can see it by the even one more device is there that you can use. Here I am taking a alloy. I am taking a alloy. We have to measure it, but simply I am not having that device with me. I am showing with this one only. So it is showing like this, the blowing of light, whereas with the copper pure metal it is showing more brightness as compared to the alloy. This is what we can check like this, the resistivity of a material. Okay, all right then. And resistivity of conductor as compared to the alloys is always less, and as compared to the insulators, alloys resistivity is less. Okay, all right. Then we will move on to the connections of resistances. Connections of resistances. So as we just saw that resistances will be like this. Okay, so connections of resistances, we will see how we have to connect. So this is the fourth formula. Please take it down. R is equal to rho L in L by A, rho L by A. R is equal to rho L by A. This is our fourth formula. Okay, all right then. So resistances connection in a series we will take first. Okay, suppose we are having a circuit like this. This is positive and negative, and this is our key, and here I will connect a ammeter, positive and negative, and resistances. I am having two resistance with me, R1 and one more resistances. Resistances will be shown like this with this sign. Okay, and even if you want to show the variable resistances, then you can show like this, or the sign for the variable resistances is like this. So this we call it as a rheostat. I am having with me. So this is what the rheostat. Here the resistance is mentioned here 1.2 ohms to the 100 ohms. Okay, so you can vary the resistance here from 1.2 ohms to the 100 ohms. You can simply vary the resistance, and this is variable resistance is called as rheostat also. This is a rheostat. So this is a rheostat. Understood? The symbol for the variable resistance is this one only. Okay, this is what a resistance R1 and R2. You know that always we connect the voltmeter parallel to the resistances. So here voltmeter I will connect like this. Okay, voltage between this end and voltage between this end. Okay, V1 and V2 I will write like this. Current always flow from, yes you are right, from positive to negative, conventional direction of current. Now simply on this, okay, now current is moving like this, electrons are moving like this, current is moving like this. Okay, suppose the resistance of this one is say around 2 ohm or 3 ohm, this one is also a 3 ohm. Okay, resistance we measure in terms of ohms. Okay, right. Then what will be the, what if you want to remove these two and if you want to put a one resistance, that is effective resistance of these two, how much that would be? Then simply you take like this, the effective resistance of the series, always we write the RS, that is in series, no, this is in series. Here ammeter, okay, what would be the, this is voltmeter, you can take here RS, current direction like this. Okay, so what will be the effective resistance if you want to remove these two and want to put a single resistance in that, then what will be the effective resistance? That will be this one. Then simply if you want to take a formula from this one, you have to go for a Ohm's law. What is that? V is equal to IR. Simple, here a current is moving like here like this, with this one no current is dividing here, no current is dividing, whereas voltage is dividing here, potential difference is dividing. In the series connection always voltage is distributing, whereas current remains the same. Remember this, I remains the same, V is going to distribute, V1 and V2 distribute. Okay, all right. So V is equal to IR, we know that. Here V is equal to, how many V's are there? V1 plus V2 are there, right? V is equal to V1 plus V2 are there. Then V is equal to, V1 means here V is equal to IR, V is equal to here IR, that means IRS, I will write here IRS. Then V1 is equal to here IR1 plus V2 is equal to IR2, which is common in this one, simply IRS, I you take as a common one, R1 plus R2. Okay, so this one get cancelled, RS is equal to R1 plus R2. That means net or effective resistance, if you want to put in this one, simply take RS is equal to 3 plus 3, how much it is? 6 ohm. So if you want to replace these two in place of those two, if you want to put a one single resistance, that would be 6 ohm only. Here you have to put a 6 ohm. That means in a series, if you want to increase the resistance, if you want to increase the opposition force for the flow of current, then simply connect the resistances in series. Okay, simply connect the resistances in series. So you got one more formula. What is that? RS is equal to R1 plus R2 plus so on. Okay, all right. Right then. So resistances depended on, we just discussed, length of the conductor, area of the conductor, material of the conductor and temperature, factors affecting on the resistance. Whereas resistivity, it is not depending on the length, it is not depending on the area of the cross section, simply in some conductors it depends on the temperature only, that's it. That one point you remember about the resistivity. Okay, right then. So just we discussed, if the resistances are connected in series, then that will be R1 plus R2 plus R3 so on. That means if you want to increase the resistance in a series, you have to connect the resistances in series only. So if you want to increase the resistances in a circuit, simply connect the resistances in series. Okay, this type of connection we call it as a series only, right? See here, I will show you one more time. Here I have a resistance which is having long length wire. You can see here it is not working. Okay, I will show you here. Why it is not working? So yes, see, the current is very less. Why? Because I have taken a big wire, a very long wire, and it is showing a lesser blow here. If I remove this and if I put a one single wire, then you can see here more blow of current. So these are what resistances in series I am connecting. In series I am connecting. See here, these are resistances. This is also a resistance only. Just take this as a resistance only. In series I am connecting. I will show you in parallel if I connect what will happen. Okay, what will happen? See, with this one only. With this one only you can check it. So here the light is very less, and I have connected the resistances in a series it is. The light is blowing very less. Okay. Now I will come to the parallel connection. Okay, I will come to the parallel connection, and in the series connection always what is going to distribute? Yes, voltage is going to distribute, and what is going to remain same? Current is going to remain same. That's it. Okay, right then. And same resistances, if you connect it in the parallel, R1 which is having 3 ohm, once again I will take 3 ohm, it is also having 3 ohm, and this is the battery or a cell you can take, right. Then current plus minus, this is the current which is going to divide here I1 and I2 here. See here, current is getting two paths here, that is why it is dividing I1 and I2, and for this one, for the both the resistances, voltmeter will be only one, that is voltage will be same. So if you are connecting the resistances in parallel, then the voltage remains the same, between the two ends. So I1 and I2 will move like this, and once again it becomes, this is I1 and this is I2. Here both will add and becomes a I itself only. Okay, that means I is equal to here in this one I1 plus I2. So if you want to remove these two which are there in the parallel connection and want to place a one effective resistance or a one effective resistance, that you can take like this, one effective resistance. Is it visible? Okay then. So here plus minus current I, here it is effective resistance I am taking here as a RP, resistances in parallel, and this is our voltmeter, voltage is same, only the current is dividing. Okay, here I is equal to I1 plus I2. So once again same, take the Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R, I is equal to V by R. See here, I is equal to V by R. Here V by I1 is equal to V by R1. Okay, here I will substitute that. I is equal to what is here now? What is here? V by RP. Okay, I will write this side. I is equal to I1 plus I2 now here. I1 plus I2. So I is equal to what is here? V by RP. What is I1? I1 is equal to V by R1 plus V by R2. Okay, all right then. So this one get cancelled. V by RP is equal to V1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. You know that these two will get cancelled. So that 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Now you simply substitute the value in this. So 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3, LCM is how much? 3 only, and what will be the total this thing? 1 by Rp is equal to 2 by 3, Rp is equal to 3 by 2, 2 ones are, and how much is left? 1 is left, 1.5 ohm. So, see here, in the parallel connection, if you connect the resistances, you will get the very least resistance, that is even smaller than the entire resistance present in the circuit. Okay. So, 1.5 ohm you are getting, understood. That means, if you want to reduce the resistance, then you have to connect the resistances in parallel, okay, as you are seeing here. So, that means you got a one more formula. What is that? So, that is here. So, 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, like that. See here, resistances are here, there you can see here. So, in the series connection I have connected, simply I want to connect one more resistance in parallel. See here what will happen. See, the resistance decreases, automatically light started blowing more. See, I will remove here. This is a resistance connecting in parallel to this resistance. This conductor acts like a resistance here. See here. See, if I remove this, see here. If I remove this, once again the flow of light less. If I add this one, resistance decreases in the circuit and light started blowing more. So, this is the funda behind it, that is it. Okay, understood? Okay then. So, we got totally so many formulas here, and the numerical related to it we will discuss in another video. Especially numerical related to the Ohm's law, it may be resistance, it may be resistivity, it may be resistance connected in series and parallel, and entire numericals related to the electricity lesson we will discuss in another video. Okay, all right then. So far we have discussed resistances in series, resistances in parallel. So, how many formulas we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, and this one is the fifth one. Sixth one, 1 by Rp is equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3, like this. Okay, understood? Okay then. So, if you want to reduce this resistance in a circuit, simply connect the resistances in parallel. So, if you want to increase the resistance in a circuit, connect the resistances in series, that is it. Okay. All right then. So, next we will move on to the heating effect of electric current. Okay. Heating effect of electric current. These 6 points, 6 formulas, please note down, because especially all the numericals what we are going to solve in this lesson are almost all, if you are thorough with the formula, then you will very easily solve the numericals. Okay, right then. I will rub this. We will move on to the heating effect of electric current. What is that heating effect of electric current? Heating effect of electric current. Here electric current is going on. Here electric current is going on. What is going on? Electrons are moving. Okay. So, electrons are having which energy? Kinetic energy. Okay. You know that law of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created and nor be destroyed. Like that, here the kinetic energy of electrons are converted into, when they come and hit with the atoms, then the kinetic energy is converting into heat energy. Understood? Okay. So, when they friction with the, that frictional energy that produces the heat. When they friction with the atoms, they produces the heat energy. Understood? So, kinetic energy is converting into heat energy. Right? Sir, we are not having any formula for heat energy so far, whatever we have discussed in this lesson. Okay, right? We will see. So, heating effect of electric current. We simply studied that what is voltage? Voltage is nothing but work done per unit charge. Okay. So, what is work? Work is nothing but a energy only. What is work? Work is nothing but a energy only. Here, which energy we are getting? Heat energy. Heat energy is nothing but what it is? V into Q. Just remember all the formula. I is equal to Q by T, V is equal to W by Q, V is equal to I R. These three you just remember. That is enough. You will get a more formula here. Heat energy H is equal to V into Q. So, Q, V into Q, or what you can take, V is equal to IR. You can take V is equal to IR. I will write here V is equal to IR. Okay. Q, instead of Q you can take I into T. Okay. What you will get? I into I square, and R into T. So, first formula for heat energy you are getting, that is VQ. Second one is I square into R into T. Okay. Even you can substitute V is equal to IR, Q is equal to, or I can write one more formula, that is V. Q is nothing but I into T. This is the second formula. Okay. If the voltage is given, current is given, time is given, then you can find out the heat energy. And in the first formula, if current is given, resistance is given, time is given, then you can find out the heat energy, right? So, one more you can substitute in the V, that is H is equal to VQ. In that you can substitute Q, already we have substituted, that is Q is equal to I into T. Instead of V you can substitute, that is I into R, IRQ. Okay. If they are given with the charge and resistance and current, then you can find out the heat energy. Understood? So, these are all the three major formula for the heat energy. In three formulas, we will consider this one, the first one, H is equal to, remember here, H is equal to I square R into T as the Joule's law of heating effect. Joule's law of heating effect. What he says, simply heating effect of electric current is simply directly proportional to the square of the current, directly proportional to the resistance of the conductor, and directly proportional to the time of which it is circulated. Okay. So, these three are the Joule's law of heating effect. If they ask you, simply you write Joule's law of heating effect that says that heat is directly proportional to the square of the current and directly proportional to the resistance and time of which it is circulated. Okay. So, this is the Joule's law of heating effect. Understood? Okay, then please consider this one as an important one. H is equal to I square R into T. So, you got one more formula. What is that? H is equal to I square R into T. This is the Joule's law of heating effect formula. Okay, right then. All right, next we will move on to the power of the current. Okay, what is power? P. Okay, power means what? There are two boys. If they are running 200-meter race, then a person A will come little bit first. That means he will complete that race little bit first. Then you will say A person is having more power compared to the B. A will complete the race first. That means within 1 or 2 minutes if he has completed, and second person, that is B person, will complete it in 3 minutes. That means both will do the work, but who will take a lesser time? that person is having more power. You will consider like this. That means power is nothing but work done per unit time. Okay, that is power. See, all these electric devices, that may be a bulb or a TV or a fridge or all these electrical appliances are working. So they need some energy. Okay, they need some energy. Understood? So power is nothing but a work done per unit charge. Understood? So work will be measured in terms of joules. Time will be measured in terms of second, joule per second. Power, common unit we will measure in terms of joule per second. So the SI unit of power we use, that is watt. Watt. So 1000 watt is equal to 1 kilowatt. You know that 1 kilowatt. Understood? So watt can be converted into horsepower also. 1 horsepower, 1 HP is equal to 746 watt. 1 horsepower. Our almost the water lifting pumps and some tractor machines are there in the horsepower only. We measure them in the horsepower only. That means work done per unit time. Okay, work done per unit time, that means joules per second. So even on the bulbs and all, you might have seen 15 watt bulb, 60 watt bulb, right? So like that, that means it will do, suppose if I take an example of 15 watt bulb, 15 watt bulb means it will do the work of 15 joule of work it will do in 1 second. Okay, that's why we call it as a 15 watt. A 40 watt bulb, simply you can take, you might have seen that, even the now mobile chargers, they are showing that 20 watt means that will do the work of 20 joules in a 1 second. Okay, so that is what the power is nothing but work done per unit time. Okay, we measure it in terms of watt, and even we measure the power in terms of if the work is more, then we measure it in terms of a kilowatt. So 1 kilowatt is nothing but 1000 watt. 1000 watt is equal to 1 kilowatt, and 1 horsepower is nothing but 746 watt. Okay, right then. And we will simply see what is energy. Okay, energy means what? Work is nothing but energy only. Okay, what is energy? Energy is nothing but P is equal to E by T, you can take. Power is equal to E by T. Okay, energy is nothing but P into T is the energy. Okay, here what is the SI unit of power? Watt, and in commercial unit we can take it as a kilowatt. Kilowatt hour is the unit of energy. We are using the electrical energy, and that unit we will measure in terms of unit only, but that will be measured in terms of kilowatt hour also. Kilowatt hour also. So kilowatt hour can be converted into joules. Energy can be measured in terms of joules. See here, or joule. See, kilowatt hour is the energy's unit. Kilowatt means 1000 watt. Hour means, that is 1 hour is nothing but I will take 60 second for 1 minute and 60 minute. Okay, so now how much it is? 6 6 the 36. Okay, 3 plus 2, that is 5. Okay, you can write the energy in terms of joules, that is like this. Okay, or 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joules. Understood? Kilowatt hour we converted into joules only. Energy we will measure in terms of joule, as well as commercial unit we measure in terms of unit or kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour. Okay, understood? Okay then. So last we will come to the main point of this lesson, that is where we are using heating effect in our day to day life. Just as we discussed, the more the current flow in a conductor, more will be the heat, more the resistance of the conductor, more will be the heat, more time the current flow in a conductor, more will be the heat. Like this, we just have studied that to the Joule's heating effect also. Then where we are using these heating effect in our day to day life, that means applications of a heating effect, we will see that one also. Applications of a heating effect. First one, you know that in all the water boilers or in a coils, heating coils we are using in a iron box, in a boiler, water boiler, we are using the heating effect of heating effects application. Okay. So then I will take this as the first one, in heating coils. Heating coils, it may be a water heating coil or electric iron coil it may be, or the electric cooker it may be, totally right. So these coils are made by alloys, remember it, alloys, that may be nichrome, which are made by nickel, chromium, manganese and iron, or manganine. Okay. So majorly we are using the nichrome in the coils. In the heating coils we are using the nichromes. You can see in the just a iron box which is having a structure like this. This is the base, which is a metal one, and on this one we can see a thin paper. You can open it and you can check. So that paper is called as mica. So this we have studied it in the lower grade also. Mica is a substance which allows only heat to pass through it, not the current. Okay. On this one we will simply take a alloy which is made by nichrome. This is the nichrome alloy, and you know that resistance is directly proportional to the, or is equal to rho L by A. We need a more resistivity material there, that is alloy is having more resistivity as compared to the conductor. That is why I am taking a alloy there, and more the resistivity, more will be the resistance, more the length, more will be the resistance. So here there will be a long wire will be coiled to keep that in a smaller dimension, and even you can see here the area of cross section is minimized. Okay. Like this, a total coil is taken, and here it is showing a more resistance, having a more resistivity, and having a more length, and area of cross section is also less, so that more will be the resistance, more will be the heat. Okay. So like this, heating coils will give us heat from the electric current. Okay. This is a first application. And the second application, please do remember the mica also, which is a good conductor of heat, not good conductor of electricity. Why? Because as it is the alloy, simply without this, if you keep that nichrome in this bottom or this plate of a iron box, simply if you touch it, even the current will flow in this one also. Of course, heat will produce, heat will get, along with that you will get the current also. When current flows in your body, we know we are a fairly good conductor, we will get an electric shock. That is why to make it avoid this, we are keeping the mica substance. It is a substance where allows only the heat, not current. Okay. Understood? Okay then. Next one. Next thing, that is our incandescent bulb. Okay. So which we were using it now very rarely we are using, because now we are using the LED bulbs and tube lights and all, having a filament like this, which is made by a wool form tungsten it is. Okay, why we have taken the tungsten itself only? You know that its melting point is 3380 degrees centigrade, 3380 degrees centigrade. That's why its melting point is very high. We have taken this thing, tungsten only. Okay, and here the argon or very inert gases like argon or nitrogens are filled here to avoid the combustion. If the more heat is produced here, then immediately if the air is there, oxygen is there, automatically it burns and it will not give out a light. Okay, that is the reason they have taken an argon or a nitrogen gas as an inert gas, which will not allow the combustion there. Okay, and if you pass the current in it, once again a tungsten wire is made into very thin wire, and its length will be diminished by the coiling it. Okay, so when you pass the current in it, as it is having a more melting point and it is very thin filament which shows the more resistance and having a more length, that also adds the resistance. Okay, and then it becomes so reddish, and that red hot or that heat transferring into light. Like this we were getting the light from the heating effect in incandescent bulb. Okay, in incandescent bulb. And finally we are using this in the fuses. Presently we are not using, right now we are using the MCBs. Here that these are the fuses. You people are very familiar with this one. We are using it to fuse two wires. Fuse means connect. Suppose this is the main wire which is coming to our home. Okay, which is coming to our home like this, and here we are using the this fuse to connect this one. Why, sir? Why this is the neutral one, this is the live one? Why we are disconnecting it and connecting with the fuse? Very simple. We are having so many costly electronic gadgets in the home. If the voltage will be more when current is flowing to our home, then immediately that voltage will come to the our costly electronic devices, and that will that high voltage will damages our costly electronic appliances. That's why, to avoid that one, we are using this kind of fuses, so that it is having a wire there which is made by lead, which is having a lesser melting point. Okay, if there is a more voltage, that means more current induces the more heat, so immediately it gets melt and disconnects the circuit will be disconnected here, and immediately circuit will be disconnected, immediately no current flows into the home, then all the devices will be safe. That is why here more heat, immediately the metal what we are using, which is having a lesser melting point, that is lead, melt immediately and will not allow the current to pass through it. Understood? So like this, 3 applications of heating effect we have seen here. Okay, so with this we will conclude, or we will wind up this chapter in the second video. If you have any doubts, and I told you already, all the numericals related to this one we will discuss in the separate video. Okay, and one more time go through the book also and see the video completely, and we will solve all the numericals in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.